What's up everybody, Chris Fronzak here. I just got back from a morning drive in the Lamborghini Huracan, and then it dawned on me that I've owned this car for over 4 months now, and I still haven't done a living with the Huracan video. So this morning we're gonna change it. Let's do it right now. The Lamborghini Huracan is one of the most highly praised supercars of our current time, and for good reason. I mean, it's a huge upgrade over the previous Gallardo. You still have the V10 engine in the back, but gone are the days of the single clutch transmission, which was very clunky and hard to live with on a daily basis. I'm not gonna bore you with all the facts that you already know. The car has 610 horsepower out of a V10, 4-wheel drive, but let's talk about living with the car. As a little disclaimer, this isn't my first supercar. Those of you that follow my channel know that before I got the Huracan, I had a 458 Italia. That's some really big shoes to fill. The 458 Italia is probably one of the most award-winning supercars of our generation. So going from that to this really had to be something special to replace the 458 Italia, and I honestly think it is something truly special. I think to be a truly amazing supercar, you have to possess a lot of different qualities. There are cars that crush it on the track but aren't comfortable to drive every day, and there are cars that are comfortable to drive every day but they're just not very aggressive or fun. So I think for me, that's probably my favorite thing about the Huracan is the variety of moods you get with this car. I would say probably a good 50% of my time with the car, if not more, has been in Orlando traffic, which is pretty rough, and that's just the reality of the situation. If you're daily driving a car, you're not always going to be on wide open roads. So is it a car that you can live with every day in bumper to bumper traffic? And yes, it is. And I think that that's largely due to the 3 different driving modes in the Huracan. The Huracan features 3 different driving modes. You've got Strada for street. That's the most comfortable, gentle, docile mode of the 3. You've got Sport, which makes things a bit sportier, opens up the exhaust. And you've got Corsa for course. That puts you in manual mode, the exhaust stays open, the steering feel changes a little bit, and there's a couple other minor changes. I would say the majority of my driving has been done in Sport or Corsa. However, I'm super thankful that Strada mode exists, and it does serve a purpose. For me, I always use Strada mode when I'm coming into my neighborhood and I don't want to be an asshole and wake up all the neighbors if it's early or late. So Strada mode's great because the exhaust the valves close, things become a little quieter, and the shifts are a lot more gentle. So Strada is also really good for traffic, and traffic is something that's just unavoidable. So I'm thankful that this exists because Strada is what makes the car such a comfortable everyday car. If I'm on wide open roads, you best believe I'm in Sport or Corsa. That's where the real fun begins. But obviously, as a daily driver, you're going to be in a variety of situations, which is why I'm thankful that the Huracan has 3 really dynamic driving modes. The seats in the Huracan are really comfortable. I got the leather seats with mine. They're 18-way adjustable, I believe, and they're really comfortable. They hug you tight enough, and they're good for everyday use. I've taken 1 long trip in the Huracan, and I felt great the entire time. The car has heated seats right here, but I've never turned it on because I live in Florida. I would have much rather have air-conditioned seats, but I don't even know if that's an option in the Huracan, and honestly, I don't really need either because I would rather just save the weight and not have any of those settings. I really love the LED tachometer. The whole infotainment system is pretty easy to use. I personally don't listen to music very much in this car, so I don't really care for all that, but visually it's very appealing, so I definitely enjoy that. I like that your temperature gauges and your air conditioning is also a little LED screen. I think that's very cool. It just looks very appealing to have only LED screens. Nothing is analog. And so far with 4 months of use, I haven't noticed any lag or any issues with the LED screen, which would be my only concern. Being that it is an analog, you know, what if it glitches or bugs out? But it never has, which is amazing. So no complaints here. I think it's overall a very, very perfect and amazing setup. My Huracan also features the optional lift system right here, which I have to say, it might have been an option that I wouldn't have chosen, but now having lived with the Huracan, this is an option you can't live without. If you are thinking of getting a Huracan, make sure it has the lift system. If you don't have the lift system on the front of your car, you are going to be screwed, to put it plainly. I live in Florida, so I have virtually no hills at all, but even getting into my driveway, I need to use the lift system. The front of the Huracan is extremely low. Here, I'll show you just to prove it. So the front of the car, you literally get, I would say, about 4 inches. So as it sits, it's basically on the ground. So without the lift system, you're really shooting yourself in the foot, because even if you're going over a simple speed bump, you're gonna hit it. So you need the lift system to temporarily lift the car up so you don't scrape speed bumps, you don't scrape your driveway. You definitely don't want that to happen. Let's check out the trunk space in the Lamborghini Huracan. The trunk release button is right up here. So coming from a 458 Italia, that car had a really large front trunk for a supercar. However, in the Huracan, this is what you get. This amount of space is, here's my hand in there. It's good for about 1 super small suitcase or 1 duffel bag, and that's about all you get in the Huracan. The reason being, since it's a 4-wheel drive car, a lot of the components to drive the front wheels are right here behind this trunk and in between this space and the steering wheel. So it kind of cut into the area where your front trunk would be and leaving you with virtually no room at all. So if you're going on a super long trip, you probably can't just take the Huracan unless you pack lightly or you're by yourself, so you can use the passenger seat to put luggage in. I haven't gone on an extended trip in the Huracan yet, but I would imagine that it could be done just by consolidating and also putting luggage or whatever else you need behind the seats, which you do get a little bit of room behind. So you could fit enough to go away, I would say, for 3 or 4 days, just between the front trunk and behind the seats. I've driven the Huracan in pretty much all conditions, rain and shine. We don't get snow in Florida, so I can't say I've driven it in snow yet, but the Huracan performs very well in the rain. You have adequate grip from the 4-wheel drive system, and obviously on a sunny day, it's very nice. So I really can't complain. There's nothing I can think of that would make the Huracan a bad daily driver. In fact, I think if you are getting a supercar, that this should be one of your main choices as a daily driver. Honestly, if I didn't have kids and I didn't need like a dad car like the G-Wagon or the i8, which has a tiny back seat, I would probably only drive the Huracan 24/7. I'm definitely lucky that I get to drive it almost every single day unless I'm gone with my band on tour. So I really can't complain, whether it's raining or sunny, or if I'm going on a short trip or a long distance trip. The Huracan is great for any and all scenarios. I can't think of a single situation where I wouldn't choose to drive the Huracan if given the opportunity. One thing I failed to mention, which is worth noting, is that when you start the car on a cold start, your rev limiter limits you to only 6,000 RPM, which I really like because it basically protects the engine while it heats up. When I had the 458 Italia, I would have to start the engine and let the car heat up for about 10 minutes or so because it was analog and it couldn't electronically limit my revs. So I think that that's something that I ended up loving. It's kind of a random thing, but when you hop in the Huracan, you flip the switch up, you turn the start button, and you can immediately roll out of your driveway. The engine is not going to hurt itself. You don't have to baby it like you do with some other supercars. You can start it up and just immediately hit the road. It won't let you hurt the engine. It will electronically limit your RPMs until the engine's warmed up, and then you will see the red go from 6,000 back to 8,500, and you get the full range of the engine. If you're looking for a supercar that you could drive every single day, I honestly don't see how you could choose anything other than the Huracan. It's an extremely fun and aggressive car with an awesome personality that can be wild when you want it to, but when you're stuck in traffic or just driving to work on a rainy day, it is a reliable and smooth vehicle that isn't going to annoy you when you're in traffic for 30 minutes. So there's honestly nothing I can think of that would make this bad as a daily driver. I think most notable is the new dual clutch transmission. Long gone are the days of being punched in the back of the head like in the Lamborghini Aventador, which I don't understand why it still has a single clutch transmission. That seems kind of overkill to me. Not to mention, the Huracan is actually faster than the Aventador. It's kind of something that Lamborghini keeps under wraps, but I promise you, this is faster than an Aventador, and I've driven both back to back, and still to this day, the Huracan is faster than the Aventador. So honestly, this is one of the greatest cars I've ever driven. So if you're looking for something that is really badass, but also capable for everyday normal driving, the Lamborghini Huracan is the car for you. Thank you for watching my video today. Make sure that you like and subscribe. I'm gonna be posting some more videos with the Huracan shortly, so subscribe to my channel and I'll see you soon.